All right, Shalom. This is Brother Gabar. And before I hop into the spiritual hydration, first and foremost, I would like to give all praises to the Most High in their true Paleo-Hebrew names and in the Paleo-Hebrew tongue. So with that, I would like to say, Kal Halayim, LaYahawah, Bahashim, Yahweh Bahashim, Ha Rakak Watashama Maf. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharwan Ben Yasharallah. Shalom to the Akim, the brothers and the women and children that sincerely believe, man. All right, so today the spiritual hydration is coming out of the book of Revelation, chapter 10, and I'm going to start at verse 8. All right, and it reads, "And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel, and I said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it, and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand, and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey, and as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter." All right, and I wanted to get the spiritual hydration just simply going into the sweet and the bitter, because the little book in this parable is the word. This word, these scriptures, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, this truth, this knowledge, right? He said when he consumed the book, it was sweet in the mouth. Meaning, when you first come into the truth, you first find out you're an Israelite, we God's chosen people, you find out the Lord's true name, all that's sweet is, man, there's no other feeling like it. You know what I'm saying? When you first get introduced into this truth, man, it's sweet. Man, you find out, man, we God's chosen people. You find out the Lord's true name. You find out the true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures, the law, statutes, and commandments, the history, the prophecies, so on and so forth. All right, you meet like-minded people, right? All of that is sweet. But then as you eat the roll, right, or the book, these scriptures, this knowledge, this truth, this understanding, and it starts to digest, meaning, you increase in the truth, time goes by, now you reading, you studying, perhaps even out on the highways and byways teaching, all right, so on and so forth. But as it starts to, as the book, this word, it starts to digest, in the belly, it becomes bitter, man, right? Because you start seeing the rebelliousness of 2/3 of our people and how they don't want to listen, how they completely disregard the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua and his word and his prophets, his men. Or you start seeing the sin and the wickedness, and the abominations and the idolatry upon the earth. You see the mental and spiritual state of our people. All right, you see your enemies and your oppressors are ruling over you. All right, your family turned against you, friends may turn against you. All right, you start going through different afflictions and trials and tribulations, and you also experience mournings, lamentations, and woes, man. That all contributes to the bitter. But that's a part of the journey, man. It's sweet, right? It's sweet, and then you're gonna go through the bitter, right? But in the midst of the bitter, man, it's still sweet. It's still sweet, man, to know the true names of the Lord, man, to know and understand the true wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures, right? The law, statutes, and commandments, the prophecies, what the Lord requires of us as his chosen people. It's sweet to teach this word, to have your eyes and ears open to understand, right? Those things are still sweet, even going through chastisement and correction. Those seem bitter in the moment, but in the end, they're still sweet, because those things are ultimately, to bring you closer to the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So the point of the spiritual hydration is, it's sweet, and then it's bitter, and then it's sweet, and then it's bitter, and then it's sweet, and then it's bitter, and that's a perfect balance. Because if it was all sweet, if it was all just, peaches and cream, rainbows and sunshine 24/7, people, men, women, children, those that believe would get complacent, and comfortable in this place because it's so sweet. You know what I'm saying? We got it made. Everything is cool, right? But we have to go through those, that bitter and those different afflictions and, chastisements and, experiences in this truth that seem bitter, right? But ultimately they're still sweet, man. All right. Because I was saying, you're going to go through the sweet, right? And then you're going to go through the bitter, but then it's sweet again. Then it may get bitter again, but then it's sweet again, right? And again, because if it was just all sweet, man, you would get comfortable, you would get complacent, but that bitterness, it's a reminder, you know what I'm saying? And it keeps us grounded, and it keeps us in faith and in hope, because we know only the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, can free us out of these conditions, man, can correct and turn around the minds and the hearts of our people, man, so the point being, even when it's bitter, it's still sweet, man. It's like a thunderstorm, it's dark clouds and it's raining and it's thunder and it's lightning, but the sun is still shining. It's just that is during that time period, during that season, man, it's just raining, it's storming, but the sun is still shining, man. You know what I'm saying? This truth, even when you're going through periods of and times of bitterness, this truth is still sweet, man. All right, it's sweet. It's a good thing, man, to know the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and what he requires of you, man. It's a good thing to go through chastisement and correction and affliction, because it ultimately makes you better. It makes you stronger. It increases your faith, your patience. All right, man. It elevates you in the spirit. All right, man. It man, it alter your brain chemistry, to where you move different. So the bitter is necessary, man, as well as the sweet. All right, it's a perfect balance. The scriptures say a false balance is an abomination to the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So this spiritual hydration is really just, man, throughout those periods and times of bitterness, man, remember, it's still sweet, man. To know the Lord, to have this truth, to have the spirit of the Lord, it's sweet, man. So when it's storming, just remember the sun is still shining. All right. And that sun is going to show up again. All right. It might rain some more down the road. It might thunderstorm down the road again. But just remember that sun is still there, and it's going, and that sun is going to shine once again, So just remember that, man, when you're going through those periods of bitterness, that, it's still sweet, man. All right. And keep pushing with that mindset, Oh, and also, and that's a good time too, when you're going through the bitterness, to practice the fruit of the spirit known as long suffering, man. Patience, and being stoic, and enduring hardship without complaining about it, or because it's gonna get better, man. The sun is gonna come back out. All right, you're gonna taste the sweet again. Right now it's just right now you're just going through the bitter, but you're gonna taste the sweet again, man. All right. But yeah, you could practice the fruit of the spirit, long suffering, practice patience, man. Increase your faith by waiting on the Lord and, enduring. All right. But man, I pray and hope that was edifying and are encouraging. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.